Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Father.
Glory to Jesus Christ.
Glory forever.
Little girl was with her mother at the store and said, "Mommy, why do we have to buy black dresses?" The mother said, "Because we're going to your uncle's funeral and it is very sad." A few weeks later, the little girl and her parents attended the wedding of a family friend, and the little girl whispered to her mother, "Mommy, why is the bride dressed in white?" The mother replied, "Because white is the color of happiness, and today is the happiest day of her life." The child thought about this for a moment and said, "Mommy, that makes a lot of sense. So why is the groom wearing black?" As you might be able to tell, the theme of today's sermon is happiness. And in today's parable, we heard about the parable of the landowner with the vineyard and how when the vintage time drew near, the husbandmen, which just means the vine dressers, right, hatched a scheme to basically take over the vineyard from the owner. And so they killed the son. The fathers can't do anything about it, and so that's what they do. Of course, the whole thing's about Jesus Christ, but in any case, one of the things that jumped out at me is that these people are not very happy people, right? They're not happy with what they have, and they need more. But they don't need more; they want more, and so that's why they hatched plots against the Lord to seize on His kingdom. We talked about that in the past, how King Herod the elder didn't want any rival for his throne. He didn't want the Messiah to come in his time, right? Because he didn't want to have to share his throne and give up his throne. And so that was the vine dresser's problem. They weren't happy with what they had. They wanted more. And to put it more succinctly, just in plain words, 3 plain words, they weren't happy. Actually, it's 4 words if you don't count the contraction here. But they were not happy, right? They weren't happy, which leads to a whole mess of moral errors and leads us on the path to hell. The Bible mentions happiness so much, and most of our translations have translate the word blessed, which is a very good word, but we don't normally understand it in modern English the way it was understood in Middle English, which is happy. The Greek word is makarios. The Psalms begin makarios in there. Blessed is the man, or happy is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked. And statistics show that actively religious people are happier than those who are not actively religious. A study in Britain a year and a half ago showed that Christians had the highest life satisfaction rate, and the Christians and Jews were the highest at saying that life is worthwhile. The same study found that non-religious people were the least likely to be happy, along with other religions outside of Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, which ranked a little bit above the other non-Judeo-Christian religions. A Pew Research study, likewise conducted around the same time, found that about 3 out of 10 people showed above average satisfaction with life, happiness, health, and morality. The vast majority of those happen to be, guess what, religious Christians. Meaning Christians who pray daily, go to church at least once a week, and intentionally attempt to do good to others on a daily basis. Significantly more happy than all other people in this study. Likewise, a study came out this year that the former Soviet bloc countries were among the least happy in the world, but they ranked highest they ranked highest among secular rationalism. So secular rationalism is separating God from the rest of your life, right? And so, but fortunately, the unfortunate part is that came from the forced atheism. But fortunately, while forced to be atheists for the greater part of the past century, many of these countries bounced back because the Christianity did not disappear. And the people are starting to learn again to integrate their life once again as a life with God, as the life in Christ. But it's harder. They were indoctrinated for so many years to do the opposite, to get rid of God, or at least to shove him hidden in a closet, right? Well, anyway, back to our story. So why is it that active Christians are amongst the happiest people on earth? Well, there's several reasons for this, and I'll tell you what I think. And what I've found from reading the Bible and studying it, which, by the way, is the greatest book ever produced. The first is that I think that happiness is the natural byproduct of being closer to God. And that we find in the second chapter of the Bible, right? It tells us that Adam and Eve did what? Walked with God. That's what we were created for. So the closer we are to our Creator, and the more we walk with Him, the happier we are. The further away and the farther off the path that God is walking, the less happy we will be. We see this in the lives of the martyrs. And the Romans were astonished that some of these people were burned and staked, had smiles on their faces. They couldn't believe it. These pagans were like amazed that these people died with smiles on their faces. What they couldn't figure out is that God came and delivered them from their torments. Number two, I think happiness is a matter of bravery. Today's epistle from the Bible tells us, watch, stand fast in the faith, be brave, be strong. Let all that you have be done with love. Be brave. There are so many people who shun happiness because they're afraid of being hurt, or afraid of being rejected. That's not what Jesus came for, though. He came that we might take joy and have it, and then have it more abundantly. God has empowered you with the virtues of courage and of happiness, and He expects you not to bury them in the sand, but to use them and exercise them. You see, because happiness is not a feeling. It's a moral duty. Happiness is the natural byproduct of discipline. Also, being a Christian means being a follower of Christ. A disciple of Christ, disciple means follower. The root of disciple is the same as the root for discipline. Right? We cannot be a fully functioning disciple if we're not disciplining ourselves according to the discipline that Christ gave us. And again, part of that is having a relationship with God. A great part of the discipline of God is the following of the commandments and the practice of the virtues. Virtues we tend to think of as qualities and acts of goodness. But more important than this, a virtue is a power given to us by God to enact a particular aspect of goodness. And it's in producing that we find happiness. So what are some virtues? You can name me some virtues. You can, I can tell. You're dying to tell me one.
Patience.
Virtues, the power of God to do good. Patience, yes. What else? What's the greatest virtue?
Love.
Love. Faith, hope, and love are the three greatest, but the greatest of these is love. Right? Then we have justice, we have temperance, right? Learning to control our appetite. Right? Not indulging in anything too much. Not starving ourselves, but not overindulging. And so on. That middle path, it's a balance between overindulgence, which leads to many, many bad things, health-wise and otherwise. And and negligence. And that's basically where all the virtues lie. Any other virtues that anyone can think of? Kindness, right? Joy. What was it? Compassion. Forgiveness. Right, the Boy Scouts listed them years ago. I'm not sure if they still say it, but a scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. All of those things are virtues. They are powers given by God unto us to enact goodness, to produce goodness that didn't exist before. That is an amazing power that He's given us, to produce goodness that didn't exist before. And every moment is a unique opportunity to do that. To take 2 seconds more out of your day when you're running late, especially. This is especially a double virtue. You're running late and you help an older person to the car with their groceries. Right? You see the bad people, there's no one to assist and they're trying to struggle, and you take a few extra minutes. So, one of the virtues is happiness itself. And the reason why religious Christians are the most happy is because we utilize with discipline, not just when we feel like it, we use with discipline the powers of goodness that He has given us, including happiness. The Founding Fathers of the United States rightly identified the 3 fundamental God-given rights of every human person, provided that we don't waive them through crimes against another, right, as life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If you violate another person's rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, say by stealing, you're going to lose the right of liberty, right? Because you're going to go to jail. But given if we don't violate these rights of others, we have them ourselves. Originally, does anyone know what the draft said that Thomas Jefferson originally had there? Life, liberty, and property. But the Founding Fathers changed it to the pursuit of happiness, and rightly so. Because not every human has the right to a property, right? We have the right to attain it, to keep it if we bought it or earned it or inherited it, but we don't just have the right to property. We have the right to it if it's ours. We have the right to get gainful employment and go for it. But we do have the right to pursue happiness. And that's because we have the responsibility to pursue happiness. Because again, it is a virtue, a power that God gave us, and a responsibility that we have towards God and towards others. Happiness is not a feeling. Joy is more of something that refers to healings, and it's the fruit of happiness. Joy is the fruit of happiness. But happiness does not necessarily entail emotions. It usually, a good sign knows that there aren't negative emotions associated with it. But what is the opposite of happiness? What's the sin that's the opposite of happiness? What is it? Sadness? No. Nope. Envy. Envy. Because envy only comes about when you're not happy with what you have and with what others have. Happiness is being happy with what you have, being content with what you have and with what others have, and being joyful at it. So I can sit here and say, I hate that stupid car of mine. And so, it broke down on me once last week. Or I can say, it's amazing. That car has started 3,214 days in a row. And only once did it fail. Why don't we ever do that? We put so much energy into the negative things that are aberrations in our life, when instead we need to see those blessings, even those little ones like your car started 3,000 days in a row. or the door working, or the fact that you wake up and the refrigerator is still cold, and your milk's still cold. You got milk for your cereal. That's your assignment this week. We're going to continue to talk about happiness, but to start exercising that virtue. So every day, in your morning prayer, think of, or in your evening prayer, think of something in the day that happened that you are not just grateful for, but have to be happy for, that you normally just take for granted. Find a different one every week. God help you, keep you, and increase you in your responsibility to pursue happiness. In the name of the Father, and to practice happiness. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the